My name's Andrew, and we're about to REKA Thanksgiving. Okay, people. Now, I've been living in the United States for almost a decade, and I want to mess with you for a minute because I grew up with pumpkins being a savory item. They're a savory vegetable. In America, Americans pretty much think about pumpkin spice lattes and pumpkin pies. And we're gonna do a pumpkin pie in this series. We're gonna do a pumpkin pie with a twist. But I wanna challenge you a little bit with a dish that I grew up with that I would look forward to. Every time that my mom would make this dish, I would just get so excited because it had such amazing flavors. So this one is dedicated to my mom who lives in New Zealand. Let's wreck a pumpkin. But in this case, we're gonna wreck a garlic, cheesy, creamy pumpkin. So what I have today is, to do this, usually I grew up with this type of pumpkin here, which is kind of like a squash pumpkin. I also have an acorn squash and a pie pumpkin. Usually, traditionally, this is used for desserts, but I've never cooked this particular dish with this type of pumpkin before. So just to get a feel of things, I'm doing it with 3 different pumpkins. So for this dish, you're going to need sourdough. You're going to need 4 cups of cream. You're gonna need garlic. I have garlic salt and Himalayan salt, and I have some more freshly chopped rosemary from my backyard. And then I also have mozzarella, heavy cut mozzarella, heavy cut cheddar, fine cut Monterey, and fine cut Parmesan. Let's roll. This is gonna be easy. We're gonna take, firstly, our 3 pumpkins, and we are going to carve them, but not the way you carve them. We don't carve them like that where I come from. So we're going to cut a hexagonal kind of lid, pop it out, and then we're going to scoop out of all 3 of these, and we're going to scoop all of the innards and the seeds out, and then we're going to begin to layer flavor into these pumpkins and roast them alongside our turkey. Okay, we're going to take our first pumpkin, and we are just going to very gently now, because of the way we're cutting, I just want you to, if you're going to do this at home, be very careful. Now, don't cut straight down because otherwise the lid's gonna fall straight back in. You wanna cut on an angle so that the lid has almost like a wedge effect. See, so if you notice I've got my blade on an angle like that. So I'm just gonna move that very carefully, pull it up again. We're gonna cut down, cut our angle. Make sure that we're just getting that good wedge. And here, see if we did it right? We did it right. Okay, cool. So you can see there that I have a beautiful wedge there. So when it sits back in, it's just gonna sit back into that wedge and not fall in on itself when we're cooking it. Then I've got my spoon. If you notice, I cut the hole just enough so I could get the head of my spoon inside the pumpkin. And I'm now just gonna go to work pulling out as much of the innards and the seeds, I'll turn that around so you can see that, as possible. I wanna clean out all of those seeds. Super easy to make. This is super simple. I dare you just to get out of the box for a minute.
I triple dog dare you.
I've just watched people, they get pumpkins for decorating. I'm like, man, you guys are putting some good food to waste. Okay, so I'm gonna finish cleaning this out, and then I'm gonna do the next 2, and then we're gonna get staging. This dish comes together so fast. Okay, we'll see you on the other side. Okay, so that is now the 3rd cleaned out pumpkin, our acorn squash. We now have 3 pumpkins that have been hollowed out. We're gonna start plating up. It's that simple. Okay, now we have the pleasure of bringing this all together. Now I want you to think lasagna for me for a second. Think lasagna. We're going to layer the sourdough, the garlic, the herbs and the salts, the cheeses and the creams through the stuffing of these pumpkins. First thing we're going to do is we are going to take a section of garlic, quite a large amount, probably about a teaspoon in each one.
Needs garlic.
And I am going to use the back of the spoon and I'm going to spread it all around the bottom and the sides of this pumpkin. Okay, so just spreading that garlic all over the base layer of that pumpkin. Now we're going to go through a cycle. We're going to put a little bit of cheese in the bottom of each one, just a little bit. We're going to take a pinch of the garlic and Himalayan salt. Garlic and Himalayan, garlic and Himalayan. Same again with rosemary. Now comes the fun part. I'm just going to take some thin slices of the sourdough. And we're going to use that like the pasta, if you will, in the lasagna, the pasta layers. So we're going to just tear pieces up with our hands and we're going to stuff them down there. Tear sections up. Guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be amazing. We're going to stuff that down there real good. It's all just going to work together real nice here in a minute. You watch. I would usually work with much bigger pumpkins, but we're going to work with what we've got. So I'm going to take a little bit of cream and I'm going to drop that in the bottom. That's going to start being soaked up in all that bread. Okay, and then we're going to start again. Layers of garlic. Can you smell this?
You smell something?
This is just insane. All of that soggy bread and cheese and cream. It's just rolling a little bit. It's acorn. Let's mash that garlic around here. Now we're going to start hitting it with the different cheeses. Okay, so now we're going to go with mozzarella. And we're going to go with another round of bread. So that was Monterey. We're going to finish with Parmesan. This seems really strange, but I'm telling you, when this bakes, it just turns into something else. It's so good. Now this is going to cook into the pumpkin. The pumpkin's going to get soft, so that when it comes serving time, you're going to take a serving spoon and you're going to open the lid and you're going to scoop the side of the pumpkin. You're going to get all that cooked pumpkin, and then you're going to get all this creamy, like bread, garlic cheese with all this flavor. It's phenomenal. Let's start getting the rest of our cheese and working it into our pumpkins. And we're going to take our palm. Can you smell this?
You smell something?
This is bomb. This is going to be so good. I just really am excited to share this. This is a culture that I've grown up with. Just a different take on pumpkins. Who would have thought, right?
Looking good, looked really good.
Okay, so I'm going to give that a minute to just kind of make its way back down to the bottom of the pumpkin. Soaked up by all that bread. See, it's making its way down now. Making its way downtown.
Making my way downtown.
There we go, that's us there. Okay, cool. So there we have it. Now we're going to throw these in the oven and we're going to let these roast off. This isn't dropping down. I might take a little bit of bread out. We want that to close off. We want that to seal. So yeah, that's beautiful right there. And we're going to let this roast now. It's going to roast all within its own juices and all of those amazing ingredients that we've thrown into the pumpkin. I'm going to wipe the sides down so they don't overly burn, and then we're going to throw them in the oven for roasting. We'll be right back. Hey, we have fully roasted our pumpkins now. All of the garlic and that cream and all that beautiful sourdough is now all merged and amalgamated together. It's roasted, the pumpkin's nice and soft. So we're gonna pull it out of the oven now and we're gonna get it ready to plate it up. Okay. So we have our acorn squash, we have our pie pumpkin, and we have the traditional pumpkin that I grew up with. I believe it's like a squash pumpkin. Acorn, whatever. Okay, so let's transfer these over to our serving platters. So the way that these work is that we're going to remove the lids. You can see that's just absolutely gorgeous, and the smell is amazing. The garlicky, cheesy goodness that's coming out of there is amazing. So we'll get the lid off, and you literally will get a spoon and you'll scoop a side of the pumpkin and a side of all of that garlic, creamy, cheesy stuffing, and you'll pull that out and put that on your plate to accompany all your other meal. This is absolutely delicious. I challenge you, if you're American and you've always had pumpkins as a dessert or a sweet thing, I challenge you to do this. It's so easy. You don't have to be an accomplished chef. This is such an easy dish to make. It's impressive, it fills your house with an amazing smell, and it's super satisfying with your Thanksgiving meal. So let's go serve, shall we? Let's bring all of these meals together. Thanks for watching. Hey, please remember to like, subscribe, and share, and watch in the next couple of days as we bring our next dish to bring this meal together. For that, with the garlic pumpkin. No, just... Oh, flip those rolls.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I think
Wow.
that's so good. I felt
So
like I wanted
creamy.
to. That's out of control.